What has been a wet start to the work week. More rain is on the way with times of sunshine, unseasonably cool temperatures, and a few breaks between the showers. Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and we are about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. This active weather pattern is just getting started, so yes, more precipitation is expected, and it's going to feel like fall. In fact, it's going to continue to feel well below average for this time of the year when it comes to those temperatures. Average highs are in the lower to mid 70s. Through the next 7 days, we're looking at 60s, even some 50s for highs. So a quick look outside, we have a whole lot of clouds, some reduced visibility, everything from rain through the Cascades all the way across the Tri-County area. Now, we have had a little bit of a break between showers in some locations, but look at our roads. Just focusing on the trip check cameras, courtesy of ODOT. And most of our roads are wet. Now, rain is all that we've been seeing. However, we do have some thunderstorms way off to the east, not really in our Tri-County area. Most of us have gotten wet, and again, this is just the beginning of this active weather pattern. So let's go ahead and go back to cameras. These cameras are all courtesy of the Oregon Hazards Lab, as were some of the previous ones that I showed. Now, each one of them does show some of those showers off in the distance, and when it comes to our air quality, there's a little bit of haze over the Tri-County area, and through the day we've had times of air quality getting as bad as unhealthy for sensitive groups, where I saw 6 sensors at the same time were orange. Right now there's only one of them that's orange. It's in Madras. One of them is yellow in Warm Springs, but most are green, also yellow in Prineville. So the yellow is moderate, the green is good, and the orange is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And for most of the Tri-County area, we've had good to moderate air quality, even with the hourly averages. But when we dive in and take a closer look, we are still tracking a fire. This is one that I first showed you on Friday, and at the time it was suspected to be just an ag burn, but since then it's actually been named, and right now it is the McNamee Fire, and that is just about 10 miles. The closest to Willowdale is about 10 miles, and it's to the east of Willowdale. And we're continuing to track everything from this fire, but so far today, most of our winds have been out of the west and even the southwest, not really bringing that smoke our way, but we're going to continue to track it. Meanwhile, when it comes to our relative humidity, remember, all of this is just measured in percentages, and so where you see it's 82% humidity, 99% humidity, and where we have the highest humidity values, that is where a lot of shower activity is pushing through parts of the Tri-County area, and we are nowhere near done with this rain just yet. But overnight, we do see the rain taper off. We actually get some clearing, and some pockets of fog are going to be possible. We'll see high relative humidity percentages with that as well. Notice it's still a little dry over towards Paulina, and that corresponds with where we've been getting rain. Meanwhile, gusts are between 11 miles per hour in Warm Springs and 36 miles per hour in the Maury Mountains. Pine Mountain also high gusts and 29, nearly 30 mile per hour gusts in Paulina as well. Now, across the high desert, we've been having gusty winds at times. Now, these gusty winds are due in part to the active weather pattern, this cold front that's been rolling through the high desert. And again, we still have more of that on the way. So we're going to continue to track our winds. Currently, actual wind speeds are mostly 10 to 20 miles per hour, but here through the next couple of days, we're looking at 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. By tomorrow, 15 to 25 mile per hour winds, and gusts as high as 35 to 40 miles per hour because of these back-to-back systems that are going to continue to push through the high desert. We are nowhere near done with this active weather pattern yet. So just looking at winds, the wind trend here in the last couple of hours, everything to the left of that white line is observed, actually already happened. Everything to the right is forecast. Now, the last several hours, it has been breezy. It has even been gusty across parts of the Tri-County area. So we are not anywhere near done with this just yet, and we're going to continue to see that. But overnight, we're looking at winds tapering off and then picking back up through the day. So each day, stronger winds are expected. Each day, more precipitation is in the forecast, and each day we're continuing to see this active pattern that continues to keep our temperatures well below average for this time of the year. And showers have mostly been rolling through the 97 and 126 corridor here through the last several hours, most of them going from the southwest to the northwest. And so we still have a little bit more left for this evening, and then we get a break. And then by tomorrow, our next system starts to roll into the high desert. Now, this current cold front is already fizzling out, but the moisture being left behind is making its way through the high desert. That's why we have the wet roads. That's why we have these strong winds. Notice most of the thunderstorm activity is been well off to our east, and currently it's rolling into Baker City and the 84 corridor, but it's been well off to our east, including Malheur, Hardy, and a little bit of Lake County getting the lightning and thunderstorm activity. For Central Oregon, we haven't seen much of it at all, the lightning, but we have been getting the rain. Now, also with these this specific forecast, or this specific satellite imagery, I also put the pressure on there, the equal lines of pressure, those isobars. And where they're tightly packed together, that's where we have strong winds. They're starting to loosen up. And there is a ridge of high pressure to our south. That's going to build in place until this next low, the one that's way out over the Pacific Ocean, starts to impact us. And actually what we're seeing out over the Pacific Ocean is there's not just one, but there's two low pressure systems, one over the Gulf of Alaska, one over the northern Pacific. The first one to impact us is the one over the northern Pacific. The one over the Gulf of Alaska stays placed but continues to shoot waves of moisture our way in the way of cold fronts, keeping our temperatures well below average for this time of the year through the next several days. So really in the last 24 hours, highs have been mostly in the lower 70s with some 60s, but where you're seeing sisters at 76, 89 in Warm Springs, and 83 in Paulina, those are holdovers from 24 hours ago. Right now, our temperatures are mostly in the 50s. We do have 60 degrees in Warm Springs and 70 in Paulina, even 61 in the Maury Mountains. Now, keep in mind where we've been getting the rain, it is cooler. Where we haven't been getting the rain, temperatures haven't dropped as much, but either way, we're running between 13 and 32 degrees cooler than we were just 24 hours ago. That's already a big drop in temperatures. We already have the strong winds, and more of this is going to continue. So our temperature trend here through the next 24 hours includes temperatures falling back into the 40s with some 30s overnight. We could even be looking at near and below freezing temperatures in some of our higher elevations. Then by the time we get to Tuesday, highs are going to be in the 60s. So a chilly start with some areas of AM fog. By the afternoon, more rain is back in the forecast. Winds are still going to be gusty, even stronger than we had today. So let's look at why. We know what's going to happen. Now let's track why it's going to happen. We have that low pressure just offshore in the northern Pacific Ocean. There's also another one in the Gulf of Alaska, but the one over the northern Pacific Ocean impacts us tomorrow with not just one cold front, but two back-to-back cold fronts rolling into the region. And so for Tuesday, we're looking at winds that are going to be gusty, highs in the 60s. Increasing midday clouds are expected. So starting off mostly clear outside of areas of fog, then increasing clouds, then more rain. Wednesday, off and on showers. Temperatures still in the 60s with a few 50s. By Thursday, off and on showers, but more like sprinkles as our next ridge of high pressure is starting to build in. It's just the remnants of that low left over. So between now and Thursday at 11 p.m., we're all getting wet. Could even get a little bit of snow in the Cascades. Not enough to get excited about, but it could happen. And these showers are expected through Thursday. By Friday, more sunshine. By Saturday, more clouds and another system rolling in. So let's time this out little by little. Overnight, we actually get some clearing areas of fog set up. Where we get that fog, we could be looking at some drizzle, and if temperatures are below freezing, maybe some freezing rain or some snowflakes. And then through the day tomorrow, PM showers, not much in the way of thunderstorm activity, but this pattern continues with us all the way through Thursday. By Friday, we start to clear out. So let's look at our long range forecast model. It shows that more sunshine is expected Friday with rebounding temperatures. Then another cold front rolls in Saturday and Saturday night, lingering into Sunday before that next round of clearing. Again, not much in the way of snow, but more rain is expected, which with each one of these waves of moisture that pushes through the Pacific Northwest. Now in the highest elevations, we're talking above 7,000 feet, really more like above 8,000 feet. We could be looking at some light totals, but this continues all the way through Thursday. So for tonight, we're talking 40s and 30s, a few of us dipping down to near and below freezing. By tomorrow, 60s with a few 70s and a couple of 50s still possible. And here's that 7-day planner. We're expecting 60s through the 7-day planner, even with rebounding temperatures on Friday. Some 70s are possible. They're just going to be few and far between. So here's a look at your weather headlines. A wet weather pattern pattern is expected, with off and on showers ahead, cool and breezy days, even gusty for many of us, and each night is going to be chilly with some calming in times of clearing, but also some overnight showers expected. So once again, there is shower activity with a whole lot of cloud cover that's rolling through the high desert right here, right now. Some periods of clearing are expected, and overnight more clearing before our next system rolls in. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. See you then.